we shuffle. So we're coming back and we're shuffling up. I had taken by the cone and just say, okay, we're gonna go step, step. So they get used to, and we literally went this slow as we shuffled up. So after we did that dozens of times, then they were able to this. And so the lineman could do, you could do that with the lineman too, to say, hey, it's a small step, or whether it's small steps and then speed it up and speed it up.
Dance class.
Those
Dance class, yeah.
They gotta learn those quick steps. But the big thing I agree with John and Dan's is the hips. The more flexible they are here, because you know we get kids at the varsity, JV, freshman level, and they're I had kids, they're doing this on squats, and they can't get their butt back. And so, you know, we're starting in the weight room, you know, this, and again, like Rocco Olega, before he was like, now Rocco is down and getting down on the way, and getting down, and what we always say, ass to grass, get that butt low, below your knees, just get that flexibility. If they can get this on their heels,
that's huge.
And stay tall.
And we do that in our warm-up. We do like a squat hold. We just hold a squat for 20 seconds every day.
Duck walk, and yeah, just to get
Duck
that
walk.
sitting back on your heels. Tell them, I mean, you're doing a squat. If you're on your toes, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's not, I'm trying to do that.
So we're trying to do that daily. I mean, we know that's a universal.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
PE, my PE at the
Okay, good,
squat,
good, good.
Squats in our daily routine now, and I'm talking
That's
about
awesome,
sitting
yeah.
back. Don't rock forward. You got to sit back on your heels and squat. You're not, you know.
So like opening hips, you know, they could, you know, Dan was talking about this, but something to build off of that is like a karaoke, and then well, and into a twist and go karaoke, whatever.
Karaoke in the bar. Karaoke.
But karaoke, big step, where they're big step, and then add a, you know, maybe they go 1, 2, 3, and the fourth is they're turning into a sprint. So this kind of opening the hips off the karaoke or karaoke big step or quick step or tapioca, where it's really fast, and then turn the hips with that. So that's the big. And if the more flexible they are here, just they're going to be more powerful, more explosive, quicker off the ball. I think overall. Anything else on the line?
I was just going to say just before, something simple, you know, for especially young kids, because it's a strength and conditioning thing, but it's also it's applicable with just the position itself. So we've been talking about, coach has been talking about the stance. Okay, get them in that squat, but give them give them a heavy bag or give them a med ball, and just have them stand here, and they can even throw it back and forth to each other. That gets them in the position and then punching when they're in that position. So it's a good, like I said, it's strength and conditioning. They're, you know, they're essentially doing like a chest exercise, but they're doing it in their, you know, football position of an offensive lineman. So just little things, you know.
Yeah, I was. One thing you could. I've seen this. We didn't do it this year, but I've seen some coaches teach this. They keep their hands in is clap. So if I'm coming to block Chris, I'm gonna right here, and that's just that clap keeps my hands in instead of out. So that's something you can teach too, is that quick clap, just to keep your hands in with that. One last drill is if you get the bag, you go this way. So I'm gonna mirror you, and all you're gonna do is at times just push the bag, put the bag in my face. So go. So he does that, and I'm not gonna hit. I'm only gonna hit when he comes into my play. So I'm just not gonna hit it. So I'm gonna fire when he goes. Okay, and you can go back and forth on that. And you can keep changing direction to come back. I just mirror him. So that's again footwork and a quick strike you can do. they hold the ball, teaching, holding them, where gripping it, is important. So knowing, I don't know if you can get a picture of that. That is really important. You know, some kids are holding it here, but just that proper grip. Standing tall, shotgun.
For the most part, yeah.
So they're gonna, I tell them screw their feet in to the ground. They're gonna bend in their knees, shoulder width apart. Just like an athlete. It's really just, you know, whether you're a shortstop or you're a basketball player, just being an athlete and tall. And I'm looking downfield, and I know third and fourth guys can be really hard because they're gonna be focused on the ball. But as they get more comfortable, you know, I'll tell them, you know, starting in middle school, you know, they gotta start looking, you know, out at the defense. This can be hard for third and fourth grade, but just, you know, getting your hands ready to catch with that. The reason why I screw their feet in, because when they turn, they're just a little bit quicker on which way they're getting out. The mesh and read, I think, you know, we've done this on Saturday mornings. I think you guys could do a zone, like a zone read type of thing with the quarterback and the running back. I think they can do that. That's just a simple, you know, read the end, pull with that.
How you're handling the ball too, when the coaches did it right now, you know.
So
I see guys do this a lot, yeah, I see if you're this hand, you want to hold like that, when I don't put the ball on the ground.
I teach
So if
them.
you know, if he's coming here, I want this hand always here, like, this hand down on this side of the ball to the guy in here,
Yeah.
so that I can just give it away like that. Where
I have it here,
Yeah, you-
so I can pull if I'm gonna keep it. I don't want them obviously up here because that's fumble, but here so they can ride, pull if they're gonna keep them going. But I think it's something they can do.
It's in the playbook for sure, especially for fifth and sixth grade for sure. I think you're
With that, with the ride, I tell them A to Z. So we'll just, you know, we'll work. We'll get the snap, and I'll just work here. So we'll get the snap here, so they're getting used to here. Because kids, even, you know, in the high school, they're this, you know, and I want here so they can ride, and that gives them all this time to read, and then pull or keep, pull it and keep it or hand it off. So they get used to, you know, A to Z or thigh to thigh. It's just here and go with that. There's just so much a quarterback is. Any specific drills or anything that you would want?
What would be like your three? If we had 5 to 10 minutes once a week, what are like the drills? 2 or 3 drills?
I would say, you know, I mean, how many times are you throwing?
In a game?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be 5 to 10.
Okay.
Five,
so-
at least 5.
All right. So.
I like throwing it. I want our kids confident. I don't want to be scared to throw the ball.
So, you know, with our guys, I would do Saturday mornings, and I know they can do it because they are doing it. Is just work on the components of the 3-step drop, have them, you know, start 1 step, they'll come back, 1 step, and then you can even just throw the ball up, and you're doing that, and then the 2nd step, so they here, and they'll stop. Eyes are downfield. I'm looking downfield, and I'm just doing my 2nd step here, just back and forth. This is really easy, back and forth. So I'm getting used to over-exaggerating, sinking my hips, and then my 3rd step is just here with that. So that can take like two minutes, and then they're 3-step down, and I'm looking downfield. And if I'm going to throw, then I'll stop and throw. But I know the young kids can do it because they are doing it on Saturday mornings now. The big thing then is when I'm still noticing it, then I watch them, like yesterday. Then they were with the receivers and went back to always. So getting them used to doing it when they have the receivers on the throw, because then a couple of kids were getting them and they forgot to do the 3 steps. So really hammering that aspect of it. you guys boot out, right? We do two things with that. When we roll, I'll have Michael step up and shuffle to throw, or he'll close his shoulder and then throw on the run. If you're gonna throw on the run, so we'll just, what we did yesterday with the guys, I just started them, just walk, no ball, just walk, close your shoulder. You always wanna close my shoulder to target here. I'm gonna kick this leg out here, and step, and walk back. I'm gonna do it again, just walk, no ball, just walk, close the shoulder, kick. And I'm gonna extend my fingers to the target, All right, so it's gonna help me keep my shoulders down on it. I want fingers to the target. Then we'll jog it. So I'm gonna jog, close, here. And then we'll give him a ball, and then we'll do it with the ball and throw. And then the partner's with them, and then we'll go walk it, we'll jog it, and then we'll run it, turn, fire. And I say run downhill. I'm gonna run my target. All right, so then out of that, then we'll do our, you guys do the fake, and he's booting out. So set the cones up, I gotta close my shoulder, and I'm gonna make my throw with that. We do drop, we'll go 1, 2, 3, and we'll shuffle, and then throw. Yesterday, they did this really well yesterday. I put two escape drills in it. So they were 1, 2, 3, so I had cones down with this. So starting, I had a cone back here. So you can go 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna shuffle, and then once I get to here, I'm gonna roll out. So I'm gonna escape with that. And the whole idea of that is you have a person rushing in, and I have to, oh, here he comes. Oh, I gotta get out of here. If I'm going that way, I'm gonna spin out and then and redirect my eyes outfield. So those are things that they can do, because we did them yesterday, and they were actually pretty good with it. So you can do an escape drill where you have one of the players or a coach comes in as they're dropping back, and they gotta step up in the pocket, keeping our eyes outfield. And then I'll tell the receivers, either put your hands up. When their hand goes up, they throw. If hands don't go up, I got tuck and run. So other drills that we'll do is you can put a line of cones that drop, step, shuffle up, and then drop, step back, and it's always your back foot. So I'm moving my back foot and drop, and I'm stepping up like that.
When they're doing these drills, we're having actual live kids coming at them trying to pull their flags.
You can, or this can be just a simple cone drill. So I'll set up cones here, and you can make as many cones as you want, as many lanes as you want for these guys. And so we'll start, drop, back, up, step, drop, back, and shuffle up. You can make as many lanes, you can do it twice. Then you can have the guy rush and have him, with the bag, and they gotta avoid. And you can have fun with it. I do one I call Tom Brady drill. I'll have the bag and I'll swipe at their head, and they have to duck. So, in fact, I sent Michael a Ohio State game. Quarterback, Ohio State. Fields. Did that drill. He dropped, guy came up, he shuffled, and then Another guy came this way, he spun out and ran for a touchdown. And I replayed it, copied it, said, here's why we do this drill. So,
He also runs a 4 point.
I mean, that's, all of these things are just, but the big thing is keeping eyes downfield, eyes downfield, eyes downfield, eyes downfield, eyes downfield. That's gotta be a broken record, eyes downfield, eyes downfield, eyes downfield. Those are just some simple, like, footwork drills with that. If they're throwing, if the ball is sometimes like really wobbly, again, this finger here, they may have too many fingers on the laces, so this finger on that last one can make a difference on making that spark, the better spark. If they're gripping it too hard, if the grip is too hard, that can also be a difference if it's really wobbly. So, I mean, there's a lot that I can go over with receiver or with quarterbacks. The other thing you'll hear me say all the time, and if any of your kids would come and say it, is giving the zero. Zero is this position here. It's my elbow is between my chin and my forehead. The reason why this is important is it gets my hips open here. All right, some kids will do this and they're out here, but my hips never get open. All right, I always tell quarterbacks, throwing a football is like hitting a baseball. If I'm hitting a baseball, I'm swinging, I'm opening my hips. If I'm throwing a football and I'm getting zero, I'm getting my hips with that. So it's the same concept. So other drill, the throwing drill will be here. We'll get right here. So I'll tell a wall drill and we'll throw. So I'll tell them make 2 L's here. L here, L here. So here's L, and then we'll get to 0 and throw. And I want to always finish elbow or my fingers to the target as I follow through. So one other one, I don't step at the target. As a righty, I'm going to step just left. So if I'm throwing to Chris, I'm going to step left. When I get to 0, now that ball, I'm opening up this hallway for that ball. When I throw it, will stay right on target. If I'm stepping at him and I throw, I'll be off a little bit. Okay? So I want to step, as a righty, I want to step just a little bit left of my target. And that opens up. And when I get to 0, everything, that opens up my hips and opens the hallway up. So those are, I know it's a lot with that, but there's a lot of small techniques. Throwing football is not throwing baseball. I know a lot of kids, they want to, they bring it down here. Michael, we've been working with Michael for 3 years. He still has a little bit of tendency to do this. He's getting better. My pre-pass position is right here. So when I'm holding the ball, I want to just cock my wrist here. I don't want this. This cocking the wrist, now it's just one less movement when I go to throw. So I'm about a fist from the ball's about a fist from my chest, my pec here. I don't want to be here, I don't want to be up here, right about here, on my wrist cocked. All right, I'm making a triangle, whatever you want to call it. So I can, when I throw and I release, I'm making those L's here. All right, nose of the ball needs to be up. All right, it's just kind of physics. If the nose is down, I'm throwing, and the ball's gonna go down. So, and that's another thing, by cocking my wrist, when I come up and I come the ball, the nose of the ball's gonna be up. All right, so when I release, that ball will be up. Another thing for spirals, these 2 knuckles on the ball, your index finger and your middle finger, these 2 knuckles should line up on the seam. All right, these 2 knuckles. Why is that? So when I release, if these 2 knuckles are lined up, they're gonna leave the ball at the same time. All right, and that way I'll get a better spin on the ball. So these two knuckles, here and here, they're lining up on this seam, and it takes time. And when I learned this, when I was at Rocky River, the R4 guy, it took me a while to really think about it. Like, oh, so now it's second nature for me, and the easier or the quicker the kids learn it, they won't even think about it. So when I'm throwing, as I release, these two fingers will leave the ball at the same time, and that's going to help me keep the sputter a little better. So, anything, I mean, there's so many things. I'm not going to get shuffling out, like I said earlier. Just like the linemen, they're gonna. I started them just walk, just this, and then walk up and just do it again, do it again, do it again, and then finally, all right, let's fast, because they're gonna want to do this, and that's not gonna be good. So it's really starting from very basic. A couple other things is, you know, I'll watch film and I'll see something, or I'll watch football, I'm like, ooh, I think I can make a drill out of that. So, you know, you can be as creative as you want, and if you see something, make a drill out of it. And I always try to explain the why to the kids. This is why I'm doing this drill. I'm not doing it just because it looked cool, or I saw this in the clinic. This is why, or how it will play out on the field. So that's, to me, is always important, is explaining this is why we're doing it, why we hold the ball, why everything. So, you know, you can be as creative as you want with drills. You know, I'll do that with things. So, just tell me how this is how it translates. So, just to end on, the past 2 years I looked at our missed tackles and our broken tackles. So our big rallying cry is to start the year this year. Unfortunately, we couldn't be in the locker room and everything, but I had it on the board, was we're gonna break tackles and we're gonna make tackles. We're gonna break tackles and make tackles. 2019, we were okay, but there was a glaring difference between our wins and losses with missed tackles and broken tackles. It was like, I'm not forgetting the exact numbers, but it was like a good 4 or 5 tackle difference. Games we won versus games we lost. It was a glaring difference in making tackles and breaking tackles. This year, in our 8 games, we averaged, in games we won, this is kind of interesting, in the 6 games we won, we averaged 8.8 missed tackles a game. In the games we lost, 2 games we lost, now Wycliffe, we had 13 missed tackles. Lucas, we had 1.
Ben, do we
One
play
missed
against
tackle.
Wycliffe had something to do with that.
Yes.
No,
But-
I said Ben, I didn't say.
So, you know, that average is 7 missed tackles, but for us, in our 6 wins, we broke an average of 7 tackles a game. In our 2 losses, we broke 1 tackle. Big difference for us. So, just that simple concept, all year you heard me saying, we gotta break tackles, we gotta break tackles, we gotta make tackles, we gotta make tackles. And I thought this year, we were better this year by a couple tackles in making tackles in the game. Or, sorry, we had a couple less missed tackles this year. And I think it's every day doing tackle drills. But also it's just hammering that home on offense. You know, don't go down, don't go down. So we'll do, sometimes if we do our team inside run or team, we'll go running back, you're scoring every time. You're scoring every time. We'll go at 10 yards out or 20 yards out, you're scoring. Doesn't matter if you fall to the ground, you get up and you're scoring. So it's kind of that mentality with that. So that's something that we're constantly pushing now. It's just missed tackles, making tackles and breaking tackles. It has a big difference.
You guys don't want to buy something, I'll put these here if you want to take